Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Chris Nirvana Tool here, and it's been a while. I have not done any of these analysis streams in a while. You haven't heard me just talking. You've actually heard me playing. So I figured I gotta figure out something to do. Most importantly, I have to give away the loot box. As those who have been watching our stream have noticed, we give away packs to our opponent and to people in the stream as we stream our matches. And open up the packs. If they're good, we hand them off to the viewer, no problem. If we pull a crap rare or one is even like kind of middle of the road, we put it in what we've been affectionately calling the loot box. And we build it up to the point where I finish a booster box, or actually in this case now, it's been 2 booster boxes. Then we give it away. And that is kind of really the main reason why I was like, let me do some stream. I got to do some kind of stream where I give this away, something I do on a weekend where everybody can kind of get here, gets all the time zones of our Warlord community, which is global because we're awesome. But I figured, let me go and break down the different deck types of Warlord, because I've seen a lot of conversations like this in Discord, and it's even been, I'd say, a little bit of a, this is not going to be like cut and dry either. There's popular's opinions of what are the deck types and which deck type beats who that I've seen kind of happen. And then I've seen kind of posts and someone will say like, oh yeah, this loses to that. And then I go, do they? Kind of? And like, I kind of think about it. And so I was like, let me do a stream where I just kind of talk about that. And that could be what I do to give away the loot box. So we're going to give away, as you can see, like right down here, we're going to give away the loot box at the end. So you have to deal with me talking. This is like a timeshare pitch. You give me your time, I give all my time, and then I give you cards. That's really kind of the deal we got going on here, guys. So before we get to the talking, I do have to start every analysis with the kind of preface that I already, you know what? I'm just going to say it. Oh God, here we go. We're getting a Rissy chant going. Every analysis. I am human. I make mistakes. I have opinions. These are all human traits. So what I am about to go through is not law, should not be taken as the absolute. This is my perception of which deck types exist in Warlord. And they won't translate into other games necessarily. Some of them are familiar, but they look very different and even act very different in Warlord. And so that's kind of where I came across with 8 different ones. And even then, as I came up with these 8, I was kind of thinking I could probably consolidate, 2 here, 2 there, 2 there, and probably get it down to maybe 5. But I was like, and then even then I could probably expand it. But I was like, I think these are kind of like the 8 gimmies. At least I'm going to go for that. There might be some surprises. If there's some surprises, then, whatever. You guys can disagree with me in chat as we go through it. That's cool. You are also cool to tell me I'm wrong. You are cool to disagree with everything I'm saying or be like, no, that doesn't seem right. That's the beauty of this game. Because, you never really know for sure. And then there are certain times where you're like, oh yeah, this absolutely loses to this. And then, you go on stream and then you just crush people in these quote unquote bad matchups. Like those things happen. And I'll give some examples as we go through these. And just a little more preface. As I go through them, what I did was I gave notable warlords for each deck type. I gave what is generally the most positive matchup, which is the hardest matchup, and then which matchup probably really defines a coin flip. And what do I mean by a coin flip? It's literally that, 50-50. Flip a coin, you win or lose. That's just kind of how it goes. With sometimes when certain decks match up, it's going to depend on rolls. It's going to depend on draw. It's going to depend on player skill. All of that will factor in, but like on paper, the actual matchup of how things usually go, it's pretty much, a fair fight. And then those things that either players do in deck building, in play decisions, in bad draws, in good rolls, all that kind of skews that coin flip to the eventual winner. So that is the preface. We're going to dive into this. and then we're going to get to the loot box at the end. Rules for the loot box, as you all know. If you say anything in chat 15 minutes prior to when I am going to do the loot box draw, that's what we're going to do. And trust me, when we get to the giveaway, I'm going to also vamp for a bit just to give you guys time to do that. But just letting you guys know, now you're stuck with me. You're contractually obligated to stay here until the end, unless you hate cards, in which point that's fine. So with that, let's get into this analysis here, because I think I can go through this pretty quick. I'm going to aim for maybe like an hour max, but who knows. Shout out to everybody in the chat, too. Seeing you all come in here. Good to see you all. I actually lured you guys here with promises of free cards, as usual. Hopefully, I'll give you some angry insight as well. So, let me try this out. Hopefully, my stream doesn't explode as I switch seeds. Oh, it worked out. Perfect. Cool. So, starting us off by thanking Sanjington for gifting those subs. I saw them sneak in. You timed that perfect as soon as I clicked that. Sanji, thank you for your generosity as always. Look at these gifted subs. Welcome, everybody. Really appreciate that. So, as the dice are rolling, not too loud to drown out anybody. Where that Nirvana tool kind of comes up is covering a little bit of stuff, but that's fine. Now I know what to fix later. Anyway, we're going to start off with probably the simplest of the archetype, and I think something that everyone's kind of familiar with, Blitz. So what exactly is Blitz? Blitz goes by a few different names. It could be aggro. It could, okay, maybe that's just the only other name I can think of at this point. But any really Blitz deck, the real things that kind of define are these three bullets here. They generate as many strikes as possible. And that's their way they're going to win. Zerg Rush, that's a very good... Portly Kyle, that's a very good comparison for like a video game right now. It's just Swarm. And Swarm is really what it can do. It's a lot of little strikes. They do build up to be some kind of, like they could be in like the plus 10 range if you build the Blitz deck in a certain way, which we'll get into with certain bonuses to all these little guys. But you're really not concerned with slowing down and like just hitting, like, yeah, I'm going to make my strikes count. Your goal in the Blitz deck is to take advantage of tempo opportunities. And what exactly is a tempo opportunity? Really, you just need to put your opponent into bad positions starting off. So when starting armies are revealed, you have your characters, you have theirs. Your first action is attacking. That's what you're going to do as a Blitz deck. You're going to do, if you can do multiple strikes on the first action, that's good. Kill two characters, have somebody fall forward, be in a 2-1 position, like, then your opponent, first action of the game, already kind of has to think this out. All right, how am I going to work it out? I can't play level 3s. I might lose my second rank and then have to not be able to play level 4. What do I got to do here? So that is really the ultimate goal of Blitz, is to end the game on turn 1. Figuratively, even not necessarily literally. If you stun the opposing Warlord in front and have no characters turn 1, you probably already won. And that's really what it tries to accomplish. So that's why this last bullet point is very key. The longer the game goes, the lower the chance that the Blitz deck is going to win. They run out of gas after a while. They just go. And they can't really, anything that they're going to rely on with draws is really just to not necessarily refuel, but to kind of keep pressure and keep, it has to, like, the things you draw with a Blitz deck, you want them to be opportunistic, where it's kind of like, building win more is almost a sense of where it is, but like win more is kind of like a negative connotation. A win more card is usually a card you don't need to help you win, but Blitz, really what it is, I guess it's kind of like the coup de grace, if you will, like the cherry on top. That final push to prevent any outs that the opponent would have with a Blitz. So what are the notable decks? So we have a Darmy, the Peasant Queen, Free Kingdoms, makes all those level 1s, get +2 attack AC and, no, not skill, just attack and AC. So Spencer Latham with Brother Domini, now you have 2+4s first action of the game. And that can really, be good, as clearly seen in Adarmi's success throughout her entire existence. And then, second rank usually has Glenn the Blaze, Scarlet, like things like that, just to get multiple strikes. And Scarlet is a very good level 2 Free Kingdom. That's an example of tempo. Just after an adjacent character performs a range strike, she gets one. And it has marksmanship. So that is really a very key blitz card. Also, middle, number 2, we got Sanguinel. And the reason I put Sanguinel as a notable deck is because Adarmi is a level 1 low character blitz. Sanguinel is a spell blitz, and spell blitz fits under the blitz category. That's you can really define it as its own thing, and some people will talk about spell blitz. So what does that mean? There's a lot of great low-level wizard spells that were printed throughout the history of Warlord. Fiery Bolts, Final Power, even like, I guess, I don't want to say From Dust to Dust, because then I give credit to Woodrow. But yeah, that card is good. Blast, even the OG, that's correct. There's a whole lot. Incinerate, in a sense, is also good. Just any kind of order spells. Evoke Crisis, that's another one too. That way you have the cards that you're drawing in your hand is just cool. It's a spell that generates a strike. And that's kind of what blitz decks really want to do too. They can the cards that I'm drawing generate strikes? Because that's what I need. Generate as many strikes as possible. So spell blitz really fits into its own thing. And there's so many quality order spells that you don't even need spend order spells. Like Magic Missiles kind of comes to mind, where it's like, oh, that's as many strikes as possible. Like I spend my wizard and get 5 plus zeros. It's like, yeah, but they're plus zeros and they can't get bonuses. There's a whole other ones you can spend for a Chain Lightning instead. That turned out to be 3 strikes that do 2 more wounds with bonuses. So things like that is what you kind of look for. But Sanguinel, I'd say Sanguinel or Tauth can be a very good spell blitz. I'd say those are the 2 that really come to mind. But really any wizard, and that's another thing too. I'm looking at Ancients formats. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. I'm using that. These kind of trends transcend any format. So don't worry about, some are better in certain formats. And we'll get into the nitty gritty at the end of that. But for now, just as we go, I'm focusing on Ancients because Ancients is the next tournament coming up next week. So make sure you get your deck lists in. Last notable deck, and it's not a Warlord. It's Bahia, the good old Reaver hero, not the original level 4 character. This is the hero that can start and play. As you have seen in the last few months, it's been gaining popularity as well, but it's always been there. Bahia bomb decks are the quintessential blitz. They start Nightmaster Rest, they start Urnak, they start Wheel Pikes, or any combination of those characters. And the idea is to generate as much offense before you even take an action of the game. That is the definition of blitz right there. So what a Bahia deck does is draws for all. Level 4 fighter with 2 strikes who react, enter play, Daybreak. If it's turn 1, move him to the front rank. He dies at the end of turn. You don't care about that. You're a blitz deck. You're not trying to live long game because the longer it goes, doesn't matter. So Faral's going to come in, generate 3 strikes at least, maybe more if you draw Hero's Gambit, and then just, okay, cool. He's done his job. He goes away. But usually by the time he's going away, the Warlord's either already dead, stunned, and not in a position to win. So these Bahia decks can be run out of multiple Warlords. That's why there's no one Warlord here. Fatraka is probably the biggest one I can think of, if I had to put any one there. But we saw it run out of Sargok for Oliver Eagle in Class in Session, that last tournament. So shout out to Ollie. But we've also seen it out of really... The Nothrog team in Strategic, their second Warlords that they were deploying all ran the Bahia package out of 6 different Warlords. It's just what you do. So then, what are these little fancy icons I have down here? So obviously the green plus, this is the positive matchup. So what is the most positive matchup for Blitz? It's combo. And I know I haven't defined every single deck type that you're going to see. Well, now you know 3 other ones that I'm going to talk about. But combo, so I'll only loosely define it. We're going to go into the nitty gritty of them as we go along. But combo as the first one is a deck that is trying to put a certain string of cards together in order to win the game. The reason why Blitz is so good at that is combo needs time in order to kind of get that going. And they might not necessarily have cards in their deck focused around stopping the blitz. Instead, they're going to invest in cards in pulling off their combo, just doing their trick. So that's where blitz really shines. If you're going to try and sit there and not swing and put pressure on the blitz deck itself, then the entire advantage is going to blitz and they'll eventually just crush them. So that is the most, and again, there is no 100% in Warlord at all. So combo can absolutely beat blitz, It's very hard, very difficult. Blitz's best matchup is that. There's a whole lot of other types that Blitz is really good in, and that's why it's become so popular. It's simple to play, it's easy to build, and it doesn't really have too many bad matchups. But the one bad matchup that I will say is control. So what a control deck is, they really want to just dictate what the game is. Their whole idea of playing a control deck is to mitigate the things on the board. And that's really what Blitz is all about. Just board, like, I'm playing my characters, I'm turning them sideways, I'm going at you. So when you have such a linear, simple strategy that is usually easy to pick up and usually easy to build for, someone who can build a really great control deck can really make sure that you just do nothing, because that's it. They've just denied you the one thing that your deck does good. The game goes longer and longer, and your chances go down. So if you're seeing a lot of blitz decks, and you have the and we'll get to control too, because that's the thing. It's probably one of the harder ones to play. So it's something like I would not recommend for a newer player, and that's also why blitz gets more, airtime, I would say. But control is the answer. Then the coin flip is Uber. So what is Uber besides a German word? Shout out to the German players over here. They're just kind of like, yeah, super. Yeah, I got it. Uber basically is just King Zod is a good example, and he's definitely in the notable section. Put on as many items and many buffs on one character, sit them up front, and none of your strikes can ever hit me. I am just another term I've seen for Uber is Voltron. And it's literally just assemble your pieces and you're a big giant robot that just crushes everything that's smaller than you. So it's a coin flip with Blitz. Blitz needs to run the certain cards to get them over the hump. And one of those is Winter Warfare. If you look back at the August Championship, Wad versus Lord Winter, I think Wad won. Who did he play in round 4? I can't remember. Sorry, whoever but we've seen Lord Winter, not the Warlord, the actual player. Brickta, also the player, that guy. Shout out to him being awesome. He was running a Darmy, and he played Winter Warfare turn 1 against Azad. Oh, he was playing against Brazilian dude, my man, who I played with when I drooped my face. I can't remember it. The guy who coined it, King Chode. Gardino, that's it, my bad. We haven't seen you in a while, Gardino. If you're watching this, come on back. But yes, Gardino versus Brickta. He played Winter Warfare turn 1, and that is the reason why he beat Zod. Like, Gardino was on a tear that entire tournament until that happened. And Winter Warfare is the only reason that gets over the hump, because otherwise the Darmy only has like plus 10 strikes. Zod eventually is going to have a mid-20 AC easy by turn 1 without much effort. So that's why it's a coin flip. Did you draw your Winter Warfare? Did I draw these items that were really good and already put you out of range? Do you have something to get within threatening range? Did I get a whole bunch of HP and the ability to heal? Like, all of that makes it a coin flip. So it's a pretty even match. So that's Blitz. And my mouse is not working. Oh, cool. It's working again. So now we're going to go through that. And I saw in the comments, someone's like, well, what, like, does 6-man count as Blitz? And this is where you can kind of talk about consolidating different archetypes. But I split those up. And that's why the next one that I'm going to talk about is Front Rank. Front Rank I am defining as its own class because it operates very different than Blitz. You would think, well, no, I go and do as many strikes. Not necessarily. The key difference is your Warlord is definitely in the line of fire to make this work. And these are certain kind of Blitz decks that have to do that. Like, We'll start with the notable decks right here. Artek, Albrecht, and Stonefist Gargoyle. They all do multiple strikes. They hit like a ton of bricks. They are the ones who are going to dish out the damage. Albrecht can probably play a little bit of a support role because he can give that ability to get extra strikes to other people, but with him having 3 strikes in on himself, you usually kind of want to send him up there too. So these Warlords need to be in the front rank to operate for the most part. They want to do many high bonus melee strikes, and that's the key, not range strikes. A Blitz deck can be range strikes like Spell Blitz, so that's why I felt like these needed to be separated. And the high bonus, Artek, plus 14, like they're risking their Warlords, they're risking their lives in the game because they have to be up front to do what they got to do. So you're going to get a reward for that, which is just, okay, these strikes, anything but a 1. And in some cases, if you put Silverwind on, you don't even have to roll. So there's things like that. And then, I've already said the last, but it puts their Warlord in the line of fire. The way like Stonefist Gargoyle kind of offsets that is he's a cleric. Same thing with Albrecht. They have healing, so they can go to the front and kind of defend it. There's also front rank rogues that are a little different, and that's kind of where I wasn't sure really where to put this. I would say that like a lot of the stealth decks, they can fall under something we'll talk about, which is Golden Gun. That's another type here. It could fall in a little mix of that, but a little bit of front rank too, because they usually want to kind of get up there and then beyond. But they also want to live in the front rank. Yeskar the Elder is a good example of a rogue front rank deck. Put on rock form, order up to the front, put on spider form, and do attacks and play Too Fast to See, fancy footwork, and everything to kind of keep it alive. So a lot of the classes can do it. Usually these are fighters though, because they want to play cards that let them generate additional melee strikes. No prisoners, bloodthirsty, outmatched. There are so many. Bear Soul, which is great too if you want to, like, it gives the front rank fighters a little bit of tempo and a little maneuver to kind of outplay instead of just turning sideways and playing all the reacts. Because then you can wait for your opponent to kind of get their counterattack up front and then play Bear Soul. So that's really what front rank is all about. Higher risk, more reward, I guess. But front rank fighters have had trouble in Ancients, for sure, just because it's not safe. It's usually not. So what are the positive matchups for this? OL drop. So Overlord drop. That is another category that I'll be talking about. Might not necessarily be an Overlord, but we'll kind of get to that as well. The reason that front rank is a bonus here as opposed to Blitz also has generally a good matchup against Overlord drop, but specifically front rank, because the strikes are so big, they're able to also deal with the potential issue if it comes to that. So that's where front rank, I kind of like, I'm only putting 1 for here. Like, obviously, it's like, all right, well, where do each of the 7 go into there? That's a longer exercise, and I started going through it and it was a little muddy, so I'm like, let's just do 1. Let's just say, okay, what is the one I would say that they're most likely to succeed or most likely to lose to? Because it really is gray. And Overlord drop here, front rank fighters, they're going off turn 1, and the Overlord drop usually needs to about turn, I'd say almost at the very end of turn 1 if they're lucky, and then but turn 2 is usually when these things happen. Control is also a bad matchup for this, much like Blitz. And the thing that makes it even harder for the front line against Control is everything centered around this one Warlord, Artek. He could get stunned, and then that's the end of your deck. You sit there and do nothing for a turn. Control has time to set itself up, get itself in a better position, take its time to do whatever, maybe even take some small inconsequential strikes at your Warlord's 12 AC and then put a wound on it and can just randomly win a game like that. Control will win by denial there. So in that case, Albrecht's got a little bit more against Control because it has magic resistance and skill. And then the same thing for Stonefist Gargoyle. He has answers to Control because he has like Veil Passing and Aura Protection and things like that. So, but generally Control will wipe out a front ranker. And then the coin flip is Blitz. Good old Blitz. The front rank is a coin flip here because it really will come down to how you play it and how you draw. If Artek gets up front against a weenie blitz deck like a Darby, but Artek could potentially kill all the threats that might potentially wound them. But then a Darby's going to search for another character, drop some cards from their hands, and it's like, all right, cool. As long as I can get enough strikes to hit Artek, then I'm good. But if that front rank fighter survives that, or if the blitz deck kind of folds turn one, both of those are very possible to happen. So that's why it's kind of blitzed. You have very similar strategies, and when you have similar strategies built in a similar way, trying to achieve a similar goal, sometimes it just comes down to luck. And what is the luck factor here? The dice in the hand, and then the player's skill offsets it. So that would be front rank. That is the second one. So let's keep this rolling, and we'll talk about one I haven't mentioned yet, though it's probably the one that I'd say is in the toughest spot in Ancient specifically. Let's talk about mid-range. So what is mid-range too? This is probably a term that I know even like the first time, like during like Magic, like many moons ago when this term mid-range kind of got coined to me, it's like, oh yeah, I'm running a mid-range deck. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? It's not necessarily intuitive until you think about it, because it's like, what is the mid-range? Do you only want to stay within 10 life in Magic? Or in the sense of Warlord, it's like, are you trying to only do range strikes that shoot 2 ranks, so you don't want to go any further or any closer? Like, what exactly does it mean? It really, the mid-range is with the character cost curve, because there's always a balance to that, and a balance to that in Warlord for deck building especially. How many of each character at a certain level you're going to build. For example, well, let's just say right now, mid-range, they're going to really invest on level 3 and 4 characters. So their deck won't have level 1s and 2s that they're going to draw on like a blitz deck. They're going to have more sturdy characters, more HP, more strikes, but they take the time to get up there. And that's why the deck is slower to win, but it's more durable. So those characters, they're probably not going to go away right away, but if they do, it's also a bigger loss, and but at the same time, it's a bigger reward too if they're able to get that strike off, and that's usually offset by the fact that the Warlord here will completely be around to support. Some of them might be able to get into the nitty gritty if they have to, not like any of these examples that we're going to talk about in a bit, but the Warlord is generally there to just make sure that these level 3 and level 4 characters that we're going for are going to be it. And, that is a kind of flaw in the deck too, is because it's slower, because it revolves on higher characters. If Ancient is generally a faster format that does favor blitz, like we talk about. If your Warlord loses its army and gets done rank 1, you have no chance to recover. Or you just might not be able to get your deck going fast enough. And that's really what mid-range needs to do. So the notable decks there, Beastmaster Eldrick. There's a few different freaks that could really fall into that. Sir Bobby is also another one, the original one, OG, Vigilant, not the of Andover. But I thought Beastmaster is probably the better one because it has the example of his ability being super supportive and filling a hole that a lot of mid-range decks have, where you have the ability to stun somebody and kind of almost in a sense control the game as you're getting your mid-range characters up and running. Those lycanthropes, which are being brought up with Bakbao and then attacking right away. It adds a little bit of the speed to the mid-range, but even then you still need a good chunk of orders in order to do that. Karura's calling out Jackie. Yes, that's also... Jackie's very diverse. Could be mid-range, could be Golden Gun, could be a few different things. But yeah, she generally was built, especially in her days at CE, when she really got premiered, she was a mid-range deck too. Just there to support and make sure that the characters, when they're striking, are doing their job. Beastmaster's really good though, because boosts up all lycanthropes and has the cleric class to support it. Speaking of clerics, we have Priam. Same reason here. It's really, I was trying to think like what's like the cleric that all focuses on healing, and Priam is that. Priam readies these level 3s and 4s by healing them up and making sure that they don't go away. So that in a sense, it is mid-range. It's going to go very slow, just like any dwarf. So that's what it is. But also the other big mid-range is General Lund, and I think that's probably the most notable one because General Lund's ability: spend order once per turn, target up to 2 level 4 or lower characters, and ready them. So he's all about leading. He's a general. He's all about leading his army and making sure that they get up to the front and they do their thing. General One has been around for a while, usually kind of mid-tier, never top tier. But there are things like either fighters, you're readying jackals, you're things like that. Like Lennox is also what. I don't know if anyone remembers me running that, but I ran a General Lund Gallows Fiend Lennox deck in the early days of my stream, and that was on there. I ran it during a list game, too, that people saw. That was goofy. But that's really, again, he's there just to support, but he takes time. He's not going to win turn 1. He may do some damage turn 1 if your opponent draws no characters and you get double jackals or your Lennox going, but either way, all these strikes that it does generate, they are going to make them count. They're going to have high bonuses. They're usually going to be for multiple wounds with some ability that these warlords are going to be able to dish out. But yeah, that's it. They're going to take their time and play what I would say in a sense, and the reason why it holds it back is mid-range likes fair games. They like to put their characters on the table, make sure they move to the front, and then strike. That's a very... I guess natural is kind of like what you would say, like if someone was explaining Warlord like this, I'm going to put my characters out on the table and attack you and build up my army. And the thing with being very fair is that Ancients is kind of an unfair format. If you can find interactions that are almost unfair, and here's the thing too, it's like, well, what is unfair? Like, are they cheating? No. And unfair is, they break the normal social contract of a Warlord game. It's kind of like, oh, this is just does something that you normally don't see, and that's what makes it special. So there are decks that, if they can do most unfair things, that's fine. Like dropping Supremacist into play. Supremacist was never meant to go there, or you had to work towards it. But if there's a deck that kind of lets you do it a little bit faster, then that's unfair. But it's not unfair because they played it within the games. The rulings make sense. The cards are there. It's just okay. So that's an example of fair versus unfair. But mid-range, positive matchups, front rank. They're really good at this because they have that ability to ready their characters. And really they'll have enough meat to throw in front of the initial onslaught of a front rank Warlord. They could be pretty good at blitz, but I wanted to call front rank out because the differentiation there. Their Warlord is in the front rank and doing the one who's going to have to do the heavy lifting to kill mid-range. Well, that's where mid-range wants your Warlord there, because all right, cool, I don't have to chew through your army because I just need to ready a Barrett Yeskar and then have him hit, and you're dead. That's where mid-range will really shine. Where it doesn't shine is pretty much everywhere else, unfortunately. Overlord drop. It is very bad against Overlord drop. It's bad against combo, too. Anything that needs time to kind of build up, mid-range just gives that time to them because they're not going to go quick, and they're going to take a whole lot of actions. And then the coin flip matchup is with control. When mid-range is playing a slow game, control is kind of wanting to dictate it, but they're also playing a slow game, so you're on the same pace. Mid-range will then have the tools to kind of make sure that your army differentiates against the others, where control will kind of have it to deny you of some things. So those two strategies are, they're going to butt heads. You're going to get a long game there. I don't know if you'll get a clear-cut winner, but your best of 3 matchup may only be best of 1 when that happens. So that's why it really is a coin flip. But mid-range, sadly, has not performed in Ancients here and there. But I'd say this is probably the tougher one. Speaking of tough, let's go to the next one, talking about tough to play. Let's go to control. So really, as I've been mentioning, control dictates how the game is played. They will choose, what form or fashion that the strain of the first actions will go, or they'll be like, okay, like this is what the goal is supposed to be, and then force you to go somewhere else. They win by denying their opponents. It's a line I keep using. Shout out to Joanski for the 5 gifted subs. You are awesome, my man. Thank you to everybody who now has one of these lovely gifted subs. Really appreciate the support, dude. And I will try and talk over these rolling dice. Control, really, the thing that, I'm talking about, they win by denial. It's like something that good players tend to go for. It's something that bad players should never try to really do unless they know what they're doing. And to be able to dictate the game that usually has a higher quality player. But at that same time, where control is susceptible is at the deck building stage. Control doesn't have room to play these one-off goofy actions, or I'm going to play this character just because I like it. No, every card that goes into a good control deck has to have a purpose. This card is in here to kill this matchup. This card is in here to deny this ability. And that is really tough to do. Not a lot of great deck builders, we'll just kind of, okay, I shouldn't say there's not a lot of great deck builders because great is a relative term. But the great deck builders will be the only ones who can do this. A mediocre or lower, a newer player just won't know what to do here. Or they think they will, and they'll get pretty close, but they won't patch up all the holes. And that's the thing with control. They want to make sure there's no holes in that net when they're capturing you. And there's a few different ways that they do that. And there's a few different ways that they control the game. So the obvious one, I would say, and the biggest, the definition of control is Raziel. Good old elf mentalist. They control the game by denying resources from your hand. Discard a card to have your opponent randomly discard a card. So they slow down the resources of the opponent. Use it, and then the Raziel can generate extra strikes starting Isidrith, 2+4. So they'll have that initial pressure while they're controlling the game and dictating it. Because Raziel's ability lets you discard cards in order to do something, it lets you, at the deck building stage, make good decisions to play a lot of meta cards like Infinity's End, Rough Road, goofy cards like that normally you find it really hard to put them into decks because they only do things in certain situations. But Raziel will get more mileage out of those cards. So they're able to run all the meta cards. And then also the spend order ability to just blank any non-warlord character. That's, again, denial of an ability that, if you're a combo deck and you really need a level 4 character to have their ability in order to get your whole combo off, they can just spend order, done. That's it. So, good old Raziel. Other than that, so that's really true control, and probably the real main true control deck. Another one I can mention that I can see Marco talking about it. Good example is Gunnerva the Moon, controlling the dice roll by manipulating that, playing Davinus and stunning characters. That is very controlly. And just making sure that, the key ones are shut down and just are not doing things. I should have that up there because the next 2 decks I have noted are kind of similar in a sense. I have Nemesis here, which a lot of people might be like, that's Spellblitz, that's mid-range. Nemesis is a little bit of both. I look at Nemesis as a control deck because of the amount of recursion that it has. It can certainly just keep cycling Death Fogs with Helm of Undying and making sure the key cards that it needs are there. And it really controls the board. If you've watched any Nemesis games, especially during Strategic for sure, or just in any of the Ancients matchups in the sometimes where Nemesis, which is a tier 1 deck, is seen, those monsters are dying left and right. And then all of a sudden, everything comes back. And the ranks are just so much stronger. So Nemesis really has that versatility. Is really great Warlord. And then even then, it still has ways to kind of stop it from getting plinked to death because he can just heal himself. But he'll leverage cards like Pull the Strings in order to steal your character that you need, use it against you, then kill it using his ability to heal his wounds. So that's really what I think he's really control. That's where I see it. You can do mindless blitz, but he's a lot more sophisticated than that, and that's really what separates him. And then I have Kargaz here, who is just a level 4 Necromancer elf card. Why is that here? Undead Recursion. There are a lot of decks that can do this. Rustic Umbala can do it. Cerulean Calyx can do it. I even did it out of Adre. Like, the undead package in elves is just really to recur things. Haviland Tanzik, recurring a whole bunch of undead characters and using that ability to give other elves +1 hit point or another piece. We'll talk about Haviland when we get the combo. That is what those kind of decks are there for. They just keep recurring. They're controlling the board. They're controlling how their army is set up. Like, sure, like they'll be reactive to you in the sense of your strikes, but really they just kind of want to make sure that you don't break through on that. And that is an element of control that many people may not think. They might just think that that's a mid-range because it's like, oh, I'm just trying to play some good characters and put them in there. Recursion could be its own archetype, and that is true. I put it under control. I think it's very control-y. But to be fair, yes, it could be split. Positive matchup for control, front rank. We already talked about that in the last slide, so I won't spend too much time. But yes, just that's it. I'm bringing back my army. I'm spending you for coming to the front. I'm stunning you. I'm playing Sins of Tension. I'm playing Mental Assault. Your front rank is in trouble against many control decks. But control decks usually lose to Uber. The thing that they're trying to control, unless you have the element, and this is where the deck building comes in. A control deck can be built to control heavy item decks. But usually that's not the majority of the field. Usually they're trying to control the character state. So when you have just one character go in with a whole bunch of items, like if they don't, they'll have like a Wand of Negation if they're a wizard, for example. But they won't have something to completely shut down it. And they can have, like, if Uber gets to mid 20 AC turn 1, control decks are going to have a hard time closing. They may even be able to live long enough, but eventually Uber will just outlast them. So that's why I think it is their toughest matchup. And it's a coin flip against mid-range. Already mentioned mid-range before, just because it's like they're going to control the state, but it's a longer game. I just think for the longer game, Uber will probably be better. Black Moth laughs at Uber? Not necessarily. Medical kit exists and it's classless. You heal those wounds. And then now Uber knows who it's swinging at. But yes, that is another answer that control can use. Black Moss plus Halo of Secrets. Get those auto wounds. But an Uber deck will also have like 8 HP. So the strikes really just become non-existent, and that's where control will struggle for it. So let's now go. I guess we can start talking about Uber because I'm talking about it, right? Let's talk about Uber. And I know I'm annoying people with the middle notable deck, mostly because I'm using the wrong version of that Warlord, and I did it intentionally. So Uber, items for board presence. That's the biggest thing here. When you're building a deck, normally the general rule that many players know is 25 characters, 25 actions or items. Well, Uber is 25 items, and they're all going to go on one character. And their whole idea for the deck is to gain board presence by having these items on here that not only keep your Warlord alive and are the source of probably your offense, but really just they do effects and they stay on the board on like an action. Like, so a Spell Blitz deck, they have high impact. They'll do a strike. They'll kill a character, but then they're done. Like, that's it. So Uber really gets its presence by putting the items on and then them staying there. And it'll play cards to make sure that they stay there or, come back on their terms. The characters are really just there to support it. An Uber deck really just wants, that's where the meta cards will come. They'll play a meta character to stop item destruction, or they'll play, like dwarves will play supply to bring it back. Characters like Denali is another great dwarf for Uber, just to give them +1 level and +1 HP. So there's a whole lot there, but like otherwise, you're not going to get a lot of strikes out of these characters. They don't care. All they care about is the Ubermensch. That's it, and that's your Warlord. Reliant on consistent draws. So what does that mean? Does that mean drawing a lot of cards? No. The thing with Uber is it doesn't necessarily have the room to play a heavy card draw deck. When people think heavy card draw, like I need to run 3 Maddies, I need to run like, back alley taverns and all that. Uber really just doesn't have the deck slots for that. So they're not going to have some aggressive draw decks. They're not going to draw their deck out turn 1, unlike a lot of other decks that are kind of similar in a sense. But at that same time, they need to build their deck to make sure that the hand that they draw turn 1, they get the most out of, and they don't get clustered. And Uber can really fail there if you draw, like, let's say, King Zod, who's just the example there. No surprises there. And we'll talk to his deck in a second. But, like, if he draws a hand of, like, 3 Sir Tython Shield, and then, like, a Sandals of Fortune, and some other dead card, and then, like, you get, okay, he can search for his one other item, like, that's pretty bad. Sometimes that happens. And finding that balance to make sure that your deck draws consistent and gets to where it needs to be before your time runs out, it can be really bad. So let's talk about that. King Zod, already kind of mentioned it. Zod was one of the first dwarf warlords, and the dwarves have been paying the prices for his sins ever since, because Zod lets you search for a level 5 or lower item and just equip it. So Zod, with his base 17 AC, can really make sure that those consistent draws are there, because the one item that he needs to get on board that he doesn't draw, he can usually fish out or find a option to fish out to really supplement that. So Zod is just Uber. Zod can also go very fast, as we saw in August as well. Just using his consistency to draw out and be a front rank warlord. But Uber is what he is most known for. Good old middle. We have Morgan Dithanis, or Morgan the Unliving, the 4E version, which you can literally interchange each one. You probably should play the newer one because you get an item for free. But go away. I don't want to buy followers. I got my loyal followers. They're taking care of me. Go away. Respectsy. So what we have is with Morgan is Uber Lich. There are some Lich only items and some wizard actions that basically make it so that he just isn't dying. He is an Uber deck that you thankfully don't see a lot, but I've always talked about it. Like I think, at one point we are going to see an Uber Morgan that is going to crush some people's souls. So when you have a wizard in the front rank that can do that, and the 4E version has the out where, okay, cool, if he dies, then he doesn't die, and he goes all the way in the back. Makes his deck one less card by doing that, but also he has the order to twice per turn DC, I think it's 15, or take a wound with a 1 rank, so he adds in that extra, oomph to kind of get through, because that's the thing with Uber. They will win by getting to be high AC, but they still need to chew through the army or get to the warlord in some way or form. So if they have other ways to do it, that's great. Kaimi is a version of Uber for rogues. The ability to use dungeons to search out the items that she needs is what she'll get. She'll usually get Martyr's Hide, and then just be able to generate her offense to chew through the ranks that way. She might be able to pull the Night Mist set and snipe you from 4 ranks away. For a whole bunch of wounds, which that's not Uber, but either way, she has consistency there. I just want to talk about it because it was a deck I played and a deck I love. But Kaimi can get really, really big, really fast because, again, 17 AC starting off, and a lot of skill, and the ability to defend. When a warlord has the defend trait, usually they're worth surviving. Duty is another example, but we're not going to put Duty here because we have Zod. Zod's the fighter, Kaimi's the rogue. And Morgan is the wizard. So, matchups for Uber. Combo is a plus matchup. And you're kind of like, really? So combo, really, they just want to get their get their thing off to just win the game. Usually that's not a auto win condition because those don't exist in agents and they're usually discouraged here. It could be an infinite combo, at which point then Uber might be in trouble. But for the most part, those don't really exist too much. So Uber usually has a good matchup against combo because they can run cards that offset that. Like Uber's whole thing is, they're getting big, but then they'll have cards like Sandals of Fortune, where if somebody rolls a natural 19 or 20, that it's an auto 1. So a combo deck, which we'll talk about, is Fellblow, Vorpal Blade. Zod has answers to that. Or any Uber deck will have Ring of Resilience, for example. So if it dies to an auto kill, it's not dead. So Uber will have these ways to close it out, unless combo goes really fast. I think it's a positive matchup. You can put Golden Gun here too as a positive matchup because Uber can get a whole bunch of HP and then just not get, just one shot, one killed. But Golden Gun and combo were one of the two archetypes that I kind of thought like they kind of can really go, but we'll talk about why they're different. Wasn't Uber the bad matchup for control? See here, let me see. Uber the bad matchup for control. Let's see. Yes, it is. Oh, look at that. They're both bad matchups. I am already contradicting myself. Womp womp. So yeah, that's probably just me not updating a slide. Good catch, Graham. See, this is why you guys are so smart. Bad matchup for Uber. I have Uber as the coin flip. Yeah, this is just not an updated slide. Okay, maybe I just didn't update this slide. I think I had the wrong one. All right, so we're going to do this on the fly. Ignore everything you're seeing on the screen. I have messed up this slide. Uber's a coin flip against Uber. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Way to go, back. Uber's positive matchup is Golden Gun because it doesn't get sniped out. Its negative matchup, its coin flip matchup is going to be Blitz because of Winter Warfare or things like that. Its negative matchup, let me check my notes. Hold on. Because I wrote all this out. What did I write for Uber? Aha. I have combo as the negative. Okay. I have mid-range as the positive matchup. Okay, yeah. Mid-range is the positive matchup for Uber. See, guys, ignore this screen. Get out of here. No. All right, you know what? We're going back to control. I don't want to talk about Uber anymore, but I'm talking about Uber. Son of a bitch. God damn it. This is what happens when you try and make these slides at like midnight. Positive matchup for Uber is mid-range because they take slow to get online and attack. And Uber is all about, well, I have time to put my items on. The negative matchup is combo because unless they have those things like Ring of Resilience and Sandals of Fortune, then they die. The coin flip is Blitz because, does Blitz have the ability to kill them before they get the items and all that. See, in full transparency, when I saw the slide for Uber and I saw like combo and I was like, wait a minute, like, is that right? Like, did I really put that as that? And I just kind of like, all right, let me just talk it out and see what we could do. Because you saw me mention like, oh yeah, no, actually Golden Gun might be really another positive matchup because that's what I thought in my head I was going to talk about. But I kind of messed up here with this slide. So we're going to ignore Uber. And you should too when playing Warlord. Don't play Uber. It's miserable for your opponent. Let's go to combo. Okay, cool. We haven't messed this up. I'm dying here. Combo. Loves to play solitaire. Is not reactive. So what the hell does that mean? Combo is, I don't care what you're doing. I just want to do my thing, and that's how I'm going to win. Yep, got to restart the whole stream. The stream is what I need to do. I got thrown off. I'm convinced Respexy, that bot, just sabotaged my whole thing right here. That's what's happening. Yeah, exactly. Uber vomit. There we go. Chat, just keep yelling about Uber being terrible. But we're going to talk about combo. Playing solitaire in a sense where, like, whatever your opposing strategy is doesn't matter. I built my deck around my strategy. I'm going to pull it off. Sure, I might need to slightly adjust in order to kind of get that, but I don't really have the room to adjust too much, so I can't really be reactive to what you're doing. I just need to do my thing and hope my thing kills you. So a combo deck could very well just lose based off of pairings. And you're just like, uh-oh, that's not good. Heavy on card draw. The thing about here is you need to get the pieces that you need in order to win the game. So what do you do to get those pieces fast enough? You play cards that thin your deck and draw them out or fish those out. And so a combo deck will have a whole bunch of that. It does make them susceptible to things like Staff of Secrets. So if you're playing against a combo deck and you go first action Staff of Secrets, in a sense, like Uber could be really good against combo there because Zod can search out Staff of Secrets, put that on a level 2 dwarf wizard, and then be able to shut down combo. So like there's a differentiation there. But it's a strength of combo and it's a weakness. Again, you lose on pairings. That's it. And they want to end the game by turn 1 or turn 2 max. Draw their thing, and then that's it. Notable decks. And I got the pieces on this. I'm very proud of how I was able to kind of figure out Photoshop. I love it. Kothka. Let's talk about him for a combo deck. Kothka has innate card draw. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Pick one of them. Chuck the rest. And that almost isn't advantageous because you're thinning the deck as well. You're taking the cards you want, and even though those other 4 cards may be good, you don't care because now they're out of the way and you can get closer to drawing another piece. Unless, you get really unlucky and all the other pieces you need are in there. But then you can make the right decision and, take that piece instead. Always got to know your percentages. But the combo that it likes to pull off is Serene Karat Chuck. And we saw a whole lot of that in Strategic. But basically, level 4 Serene Wizard comes in and enables the ability for the level 5 Karatchuk to attack the back ranks for multiple wounds and sometimes multiple strikes. And he's a big bubby. He's gonna hurt people. So Kothka will draw the cards to get these out, get a nice King's Lady for Karatchuk, get a Wand of Negation on Serene to stop anything that might prevent these strikes, and then kaboomy. So that'll happen there. Never seen that combo before. Reclesis, you have had a nice vacation, let me tell you. You have had a very peaceful and soothing vacation for the game because throughout Strategic, Serene Karatchuk was a problem. And we've seen it in Ancients too, for sure. We've seen it out of Belial as well because it's the same principle. The Warlord's there to draw cards and support to get to this combo. Middle option, Haviland, Tanzik, and Benedrick. This is very an OG combo. And it's one that you've seen me on my analysis things. I always throw this out and everyone's like, no one plays that fact. Shut up. But it is a combo deck. It is the whole point is to get Blood Oath on Benedrick to make him an elf and then use Haviland Tanzik's ability to give Benedrick a whole bunch of HP. And then Benedrick has Order, put a wound on him, do a melee strike. And he has a whole lot of melee strikes. So you get him with like a Braces of Ogre power. You get a bunch of +9s that do 2 wounds. If you get Benedrick to be like, you can reliably get him to be like 20 HP. Get him in the front. Get him unstunned. Because all he has to do is just Order swing. He'll do like 18 strikes, let's say. And over time. One after another. But it'll all happen on the same turn. So it'll combo off turn 1. It'll do all our strikes, wear it down, and then Haviland Tanzik will spend sideways, play Cure Lethal Wounds, heal those 18 wounds, and then he does it again. So that deck is there. It's not as super strong, but I like to note it because I like it. And then one of the key, probably notable combos here is Fade Fellblow. So Fade Rowan has the benefit of it being a level 4 with 3 classes. And it's just like, okay, well, he's a necromancer as well. So he can equip Vorpal Blade naturally, but also has ways like Braces of Weaponry to fish it out, and can equip it as a rogue item. And that says when you hit with a melee strike for a 20, you just instantly kill the target. Fellblow lets necromancers perform a melee strike at anyone, anywhere in play. So that's the way you get the strike off. And then the piece that did not make my slide. My slides are failing me today. Glyph of Fate, Light. There's a few other things that basically make your next melee strike a natural 20. Or if you're feeling very risky, you can just roll a 20. So that's always an option too. But that's basically what Faye's trying to do. Draw the deck with all the elves, hold off, and then go pop the Glyph of Fate, play Fellblow, react with Vorpal Blade, you die. So, notable decks. Let's talk about some matchups. Mid-range, very positive, because again, they're going to take their sweet time. And combos not going very long. It's one or two. Unless you have a whole bunch of anti-card draw. And then that's the thing. If mid-range is playing a bunch of anti-card draw stuff, like Staff of Secrets, I mean, combo could just naturally draw it out. So, like, it depends how slow that mid-range is. But generally speaking, because of that, like, if that's the thing that shuts down your deck, and even then, there's still hope that they just kind of get it off and you don't have a way to kind of stop them from what they're doing, that'll be bad times. And that's why mid-range is a very positive matchup for combo. Combo does not like Blitz. Blitz will close the gap or take advantage and do its thing turn one while you're trying to kind of get ready. So, combo is going to need to play cards. They're not going to stop your strikes unless they have cards like Improved Invisibility or the like to stop their ranks from completely crumbling. Blitz is just going to run all over them all day because combo's not playing characters to sustain ranks. They're playing characters to do things that usually involve fetching out these pieces. But Blitz can just overcome it. And the coin flip matchup is Golden Gun. Finally showing Golden Gun on here. Because it is doing very similar things. A Golden Gun deck wants to just take one shot at your Warlord and kill you. Combo, they want to do one thing and kill you. So it's a coin flip because naturally it's like, all right, cool. You all kind of doing your own thing and you're going to see who gets there first. Flip that coin. So that will be combo. I got two more to go and then we'll be getting to the loot box. So those who have joined in midway will be doing the loot box at the end. You have not missed it. You are still good. Two more. We have Overlord drop and we have Golden Gun. So first we're going to do Overlord drop. So, what do we have here? And you might notice, well, hey, one of those isn't an Overlord. We'll get to that. Just wait. By Overlord drop, and it could just, the other term I've seen is ranching. I think Zant Primus, I saw you mentioning that in Discord. Like, that could have been a very neutral term to use, so it could be one. I always go like Overlord drop is just the way it is because Overlords are very high-level characters. In Warlord, they are very impactful, and sometimes they can just completely win a game on their own. And that is their win condition. That high-level character is their win condition in order to get something, unless one of those characters is to drop Supremus, which we'll get to. It leverages stall cards over strikes. So any cards that it's playing, it's either to build back their ranks or build their trick that lets them play that Overlord as fast as possible. But then they need cards like Improved Invisibility, Vantage Point, things like that just hold the line and make sure that they're not going to go away and they have ample enough time. They don't really care about attacking your guys. They're not going to do that. They're instead just hold the lines until the big guy gets here. It's kind of like, let's say, the old school days, you're fighting in the schoolyard and you get into a fight with the big bully. You just need to hold off until your bigger brother gets here. Then the big brother's going to do everything. That's it. That's all you have to worry about. Just don't die and then you're good. So that's kind of how I would, not sophisticatedly describe that style of deck. And it's relatively heavy on card draw. It's not totally depending on it, but obviously you need card draw in order to play more cards to build up and get to where you need to be. The notable decks here, starting with the most notable, is Alisara Supremus drop. There are cards like Surge, who I forgot what the last name of Surge is. He's a level 2 that you can start, gains charges as you roll initiative. So as you get a whole bunch of charges on Surge, do cards like Soul Charge or Cabra the Insane, you could potentially turn that thing into Supremus. That's, of course, a longer one. Alisara, though, really just has the ability to, just shuffle back and really just drop an Overlord. Usually Selene, it could be Draxon, it could drop any of the other Dragon Lords that exist. And then once those Dragon Lords are in there, they all have abilities to let you play Supremus into play. And then once Supremus is here, it's really hard to kill. So remember how Uber was an archetype? Well, Supremus enters essentially Ubered up because it's like 26 AC, 8 HP, bunch of strikes that do a whole bunch of wounds and can do some range strikes that just murder everybody. So unless you have an answer to make Supremus go away, you ain't going to kill a Supremus unless you're going to fell blow him, I guess. Then you could, unless he has a blink. But that's the whole idea of Alsar. Get Supremus there because he will hold the ranks, he won't die, and then he will eventually overcome. Middle one, this is one that, is a little bit more 4E, but it is possible in Ancients, and, I think it's still really good, is Eresh drop out of Etiratu. Good old Chosen. Look at this. I got to show some Chosen, guys. There are some of you that like the Chosen, so I got to give some love there. Etiratu is a summoner, and has an innate ability to search out demons that you need to build back those ranks. But also being a wizard lets you play Improve the Visibility. But the fact that she can search for the demons she needs in order to build back the ranks makes her the top choice to drop Eresh. And then when Eresh gets in, if none of you are familiar with Eresh, definitely look him up on the Accordlands, Eresh. He's every single class. He's level 9 or 8, I don't even know. He has an infinite amount he can turn the opposing characters into thralls by hitting them. He can pay costs with opposing characters, but basically he just starts killing every thrall and drawing cards. He cannot take more than one wound himself, and he has 5 HP, and he's planner, so he's a pain in the ass to kill. But the fact that he lets you just kill any thrall and draw a card, like, you can just completely get a massive. You can probably run him as a combo engine, get a combo out, and then just win. He is very, very hard to die. Unless payments are changed hands underneath. Not accusing anybody in particular. But how Eresh can go down, who knows. Belial is the next one. And this one, I'm going to note it. I know it's been kind of nerfed already because Arcane Quartet is one of the only cards that the Guardians of the Storm has Vishered and Errata on. And I think it's a needed one, but good old Sissy Lal was running in the early days of these online events, was running a Belial deck that whole point was to get Arcane Quartet and use Medusan Lord's Guile to search for a card, and then every turn just Guile for the cards you need, and just, build. Once he's out, you're able to kind of do your thing, get anything you need, and then ML do a Medusan Lord's Gambit that you can't react to for 3 wounds. And he only had one Medusa Lord's Gambit in the deck. And that kind of showed just like, all right, cool. I just need this one copy of this card because Belial let me draw my cards. I'll play Arcane Quartet, who can just keep MLGing you, and I'll eventually kill you. It was a very creative deck. I still, like, a lot of people hate that deck, and they're like, oh no, like what is that? I was like, I saw that, I'm like, that's funny. That's cool. I like it. So I will always call out to that deck because I am a fan of that deck. Let's talk about the matchup for Overlord drop. Again, positive against mid-range. Mid-range, you're just a little slow, and this is why in Ancients, cavalry decks aren't a thing. Cavalry decks fall under mid-range, for those who don't really, who might use that terminology as well. Where it's like, I'm going to play, steeds on my characters and move them forward. It's like, okay, cool. You're putting steeds at your level 4. I'm putting Supremacists to play. You're going to lose. So mid-range just doesn't have the ability to deal with these overlords, and it doesn't have the time to outrush them. So Golden Gun is a problem for Overlord drop because your Overlord, look at that, look how frail, I mean, Tentacle Lady's like hanging around in tentacles, but those tentacles aren't exactly hard, they're kind of just soft and fleshy. So an arrow is going to go right through that and into her heart. So she's done. I mean, Etiratu is literally wearing a bikini. Doesn't care, no armor. So, like, an arrow comes in, hits her right in the chest. She's done. Belial's got some kind of magic floating around, so maybe Belial's going to heal up or like, put up some magical thing in the way. But, I think they used all the magic to kind of summon some cards into the hand. So, that just ain't going to happen either. Belial's probably going down. So, Golden Gun can really just go around the big guy that's a problem and go right to the source that you need. So that's why it is a very bad matchup. Control is a coin flip. And the reason is did Control decide to play cards like Imprisoned or Loyalty to the Coin or something like that to get rid of the big dumb idiot that's going to come out? Because if you can get rid of that big dumb idiot, then you're back to playing your game. And just like as a Control deck, you're dictating the game. So Overlord deck is trying to dictate it in a sense where the game is this big dude. And Control's like, no, it's my army versus your army without that big dude. Boom, gone. So that's where it can be a coin flip. Let's go last but not least. No surprises. It's Golden Gun. Golden Gun decks. Golden Gun is a reference to James Bond. The old school, and if anyone end up playing GoldenEye any of you millennials out there, we tend to skew older here in Warlord for the player base, so I think everyone remembers GoldenEye, or just the movie The Man with the Golden Gun. One shot, one kill. That's all you need. One bullet, you get hit by that, you just auto die. So that's really what Golden Gun is trying to do. It's trying to shoot you from far away with a range strike usually, and just boom, that's it. There is an exception of not being a range strike, and that's Uriel, the Free Kingdom's Angel of Redemption, who does 2 additional wounds with melee strike. So it only has 1 strike. So the idea is to like hammer toss and just throw your hammer from way downtown, hope that hammer hits them in the face, and then watch them explode. So Uriel could be up there. I put another archer there. Like you can see, everyone's got bows in the notable decks. Golden Gun, though, and the reason why it's different than combo, and I didn't just kind of put it in there. Like the combo could just be the cards that let you go an extra rank and then shoot. Like they're more versatile in that sense. Like Rollin, for example. You've all seen me run Rollin. Well, maybe not. Newer viewers, go check out some of my games with Sir Rollin, which are available on YouTube. I have played Rollin a lot, and the idea there is he gives the ability for the army to perform range strikes. So while he has the strategy of, I'm going to shoot, marksmanship, extra rank, assassin's arrow, rapid shot you, the ranks, like if I don't get that, I still have the ability to play a fair game and to be blitzy, to be mid-rangey, to control in a sense. But so Golden Gun decks don't just lose if they don't draw their combo. They can play out and still play a fair game if they have to. The thing though, and that's usually their downfall, is they need to play answers to answers. So your opponent has answers to make sure that they don't just get shot in the face and auto lose. You need to play a way to make sure you don't just lose to some of those. So an example of this could be in August when I was running Sir Rollin against Uber Zod. I was playing against Midge. I think it was round 3 or 4. My deck has Lord Joxanus and Wand of Negation. Those are not really typical cards that you see in a Golden Gun deck. However, it was kind of like, if we get into this Uber situation, I need an answer to deal with that. Because otherwise, I know Uber has ways to shut down my Assassin's Arrow. And they're going to have a whole lot of HP. And I'll need to set up to be Assassin's Arrow, Rapid Shot, and hopefully hit for like 6 wounds without having to roll. So I needed to play those answers to the answers because I knew that anybody who was going to be playing in that competitive tournament, which was the World Championship at the time, they're going to have cards that shut off range strikes or shut off 20s. Midge did. I had my answers to his answers. Then we go fast forward to the last round of Swiss where I play against Gaudino, and I felt pretty good because I was able to handle Midge. Gaudino had an answer to my answer, which was Medusa Lord's Guile, I think, right? Or I forget which one it is. It was the card where he got to name a card, search my deck for it, and remove it from the game. So he took away my answers to the answers, and thus I was not able to get my single shot off. I came close, and so that's why the more versatility is. It's Might. Okay, Medusa Lord's Might. Thank you. So you're able to kind of set yourself up to have a shot at it, but it's a lot tougher without the answers to the answer. So that's what I mean by that. Positive matchups, we already mentioned. Overlord drop. You're gonna shoot that Warlord in the face. While they're all looking to summon the big stupid demon thing, they get shot in the back of the head, and that's the end of that. It's like every bad movie where like someone's trying to like open a portal of hell and they're like sitting there like chanting, and then someone stabs them in the back, and that's the end of that incantation. Or someone shoots them in the back. Uber, it's negative for exact reasons I kind of mentioned. It comes down to answers. And combos a coin flip because they play the same thing. So notable decks, I have Sir Rollin, which I mentioned. Cathal Rowan, very similar in the Elf regard, but the versatility is really with Cathal because the Elven army is really good at range strikes themselves. But if you're not paying attention, Cathal will just one-shot you, and that's the end of it. Or two shots, really, with Cathal, because they'll hit, spend you, and then assassinate you, or Assassin's Arrow you with the second shot. And Trevor is very Golden Gun too. We've seen that in, I think it was like Turncoat. I think we saw Wes running Deveridian Trevor with Obulite Hounds. So put on a steed, get to the front rank, order, shoot, kill you, strain the shot. Trevor is definitely Golden Gun because he's just and he's very opportunistic. And all these are very opportunistic. Golden Gun waits for you to play into the pattern it wants to, because that's the whole strategy right there. When you see your opponent's Golden Gun, as your opponent, you're going to be like, all right, how do I avoid getting spent in the second rank and staying out of range of this range strike and not dying? Like, you're thinking of that while still doing your thing. So Golden Gun is really going to put your opponent into the position where they have to play it right. If they make one mistake, they're just dead, because Golden Gun is just that deadly. Other notable Golden Gun decks that are not on here that I'm seeing now that you guys are talking about it. Avarisk, Glyn, that is a combo deck, I would say. But it is Golden Gun in a sense where, so it is kind of like a little hybrid. And that's where I've kind of struggled where is combo and Golden Gun the same thing? Mostly not. Avarisk is kind of the exception. He's kind of a little bit of both. Contal, Trebuchet Golden Gun. With Brawl, that got taken off the table, so it's not here. But yes, there used to be Golden Guns with Trebuchets or Conflagrations and goofy things like that. There was a Golden Gun I ran it with Balam Nock and Danath to just go to the opposing front rank, double straight the shot. That's very Golden Gun. That's very glass catted. So all that's going on. What else was there? I saw you guys say a few other things. Yo, what's going on, dude? But man, there's a whole bunch of, differentiation there. But otherwise, that's really it. Golden Guns are trying to, and those are the 8. Those are the 8 types of decks that really fall. So chat, is there anything I really missed? I really want to know. This is kind of what we're looking at here. And like, there are exceptions to every single rule. Like these, again, as I already said in the beginning, like everything that I kind of analyzed, like it's not, it is written here, but as you can see, I wrote one slide and it was really fucking bad because I completely didn't update the slide. So don't take it too seriously. Thank you for the gifted sub, Midge, my man. Going to Tempered Patience. That's what's up. I assume you covered everything essential. That is true. Thank you, Rogue Panda. Everything I have is essential. Stealth. So stealth decks can be Golden Gun, or they can be front rank. Probably more Golden Gun. Instead of ways to get additional ranks with your strike, you're kind of going additional ranks of moving in closer towards it. Let's see. A Sorcerer deck back in the day that abused getting Blackwind out and then murdering everything. There you go. That would be, yeah. If you tried that now, and that's the thing how you say it, like back in the day, game was very different back then. So dropping something like Blackwind, now people drop Supremus. He's much bigger. Ooh, thank you for the gifted sub, Rogue Panda Art. Really appreciate it. Going to Boomer Bjorn, or I can just say Yorn, I think, right? I don't know. I am not very versed in pronunciation there. Or really speaking at all, when I've been doing that for like an hour. I can't believe you guys actually listen to me talk for this long. Did you rank the overall best to worst? I did not. And that's a good call out there, Burnout. There isn't a best or worst. what you need to do as a player here is really, and the reason why I kind of give this is a good option, this is a bad option, this is a coin flip, kind of use this to really feel out where you think the meta is going. For example, if you think that we're going to see a whole bunch of King's Odds next month for Ancients, just regular Ancients, like everyone's going to play that Uber deck, and that's it. All right, cool. Adore me with Winter Warfare. Here we go. So now you know, if you know what to anticipate, you know the different archetype of deck you can kind of build with in mind. Or you can also then build with what your weaknesses are in mind and be able to kind of try and patch those holes. So that's how you can kind of go through, go about it. There is no one that's better. There are times where Blitz is probably, I'd say, the easiest and the quickest to pick up and the easiest to build. So when you do that, then you're able to just kind of, there will be more Blitz than there will be Control, for example. But a really good player with a Control deck can just completely go all the way if they built it perfect and they've done it right. So let's see. Let's take a look at an example. Like Ollie Eagle. He's a great player. He played a Blitz deck, and the Blitz aspect brought him to the final and won it out. Portly Kyle, my man, thank you for the gifted sub. Oh, we got a hype train going, folks. It's incoming. I don't know if it's actually happening or not. But thank you, guys. Really appreciate all the help there. But yeah, oh, cool. We got the hype train going, my man. So I'll talk through this hype train so I can hype it up. What was I talking about before I got derailed? Oh, here we go, Midge. All right, now all we're doing is talking. Kitterin 2. So you have Kitterin 1 and Kitterin 2? Oh, the Eagle. Oh, that's what I was talking about. The Eagles. Yeah, that's the same. Oh, Reclesis with the gifted sub. Rogue Panda Art, the gifted subs, guys. There we go. We're already past level 1 on this. And we're going to hear a lot of rolls. Speaking of which, Vic Polites gets one of those gifted subs, complaining about the dice rolling. I'm going to turn it up next time, Vic. CEO of Human Inc. Oh, man, that is an awesome username. You are just a young CEO, and that's it, of the human race. Duke OG. It's been a while since I've seen you. All right. Rich Carter is broken. Is that actually Rich Carter? Please tell me. Oh, man. I'm looking at the chat for these subs that are coming in. You guys are awesome. But anyway, Oliver Eagle. Oliver Eagle ran a Blitz deck, Bahia Bomb. That Blitz deck is easy to play. You kind of look at it. It's like, all right, do I need to drop my level 1, level 4? And boom, there it goes. Ollie Eagle is a good player. I will not take anything away from him. That's a simple deck. There's a lot of people. Ooh, cheer. I haven't heard that I actually have that thing. Thank you for the bits, Sanji. Really appreciate it. But he hasn't, he doesn't have any kind of, there's, the game's over quick. It's Blitz. There's nothing that Oliver Eagle did that most other Warlord players couldn't also do. Joanski, thank you. Really appreciate the get to sub, bud. Answer our MLG questions. What is the MLG question? Repeat it and I will answer it for you. So anyway, I'm trying to get through and talk to this. So again, a lot of people could have ran that Sargok Cleric deck and done well with it. But then look at the Belial Arcane Cord Teth Overlord drop deck that Sissy Law played. So Sissy Law, very meticulous with every single card, and he's that kind of player. Joanski for the cheer up, really appreciate it. Sissy Law really will think out all those things and can probably, I know, again, some people are kind of like, oh, is Sissy Law? Sissy Law will outthink pretty much any player across the table from him. The man is very, very, very smart. So he knows what he's doing with his deck. He'll build decks that really only he can really play. Not necessarily only, you know what I mean. But that are really built and tailored to set him up for success. And not a lot of players can build the deck that he does or can pick up one of his decks and just do well with it. It's real tougher. So that kind of comes with Control or an Overlord deck or those kind of decks. They're a little harder. So those they're better depending on the player. But overall, if you're looking at just, easiness which I put a lot of stock into that, an easy enough deck to play, especially when we eventually get into in-person tournaments again. An easier deck to play will not fatigue your mind if you're going to play it for 9 hours straight. Here online, we're playing one match every 48 hours. So you won't get a fatigue from playing control deck. So control decks are probably a little bit better here. But if you're going to play a control deck in person and you're going to play every match going to time, you could get tired once you get into the cut and then be more susceptible to play mistakes. So that's one thing to consider. I personally, I love Blitz. I love the tempo aspect of Blitz. I don't care about doing multiple strikes. I love Golden Gun. Just because if I'm going to play a combo deck, it's usually going to be that. And those are kind of like my style. Sometimes I go for control. I do go for goofy combo decks. They usually don't work. But I don't like Goober. I just not really my cup of tea. Front rank, I've dabbled in, as we've seen with Fasalt, and we saw with Deverany and Artek, but it's just usually not one I like because I don't like risking my Warlord. So again, it really is like finding which of these 8 style of decks that you're really good at and really enjoy playing and can play for a while is really going to be what the answer is to that very long question. All right, now let me see. I know, Joanski, let me find this MLG question. You guys have been saying things. Is a control deck with 1 Darkwood Staff, 1 Ring of Blasting, and 1 MLG a Golden Gun deck? You called it a control deck. So I don't know. It was also an Overlord drop deck. Because with Arcane Quartet doing that. See, and that's the thing. They kind of blur the line sometimes. Avarice Glyn is a Golden Gun combo deck. Darkwood Staff, Ring of Blasting, MLG, that also can do that. I mean, if you're doing that in like Adonis is kind of the Kozner. He's pretty Golden Gun. He ain't gonna win, and he's just playing cards to stall. So I would consider him more Golden Gun than anything else, really. He kind of has elements of control, but all that elements of control is just to stall towards his win condition. So that's what I would say there. Alrighty. Last chance for any questions. Otherwise, we are about to get to the thing that all you are here for. So get ready, folks, because we're going to be giving away a loot box very soon. But this is the last call for questions. Otherwise, again, one last thing. This is all not written in stone, as you can see by my Uber slide not being updated. So, yeah, I'm going to loot everybody. Let's do it, folks. We're here. We've made it. We are now here for the loot box. And, well, now it's 2. Well, yeah, we got 2 loot boxes. That's really what it is. Hype Train was a success. We got to level 3, folks. Thank you very much. Really appreciate all the love. And I'm going to return that love because one of you is going to get all that. And what is in here? We got packs on packs on packs. That's what we got. Anything that we opened since the last loot box, which was won by Wyvern, everything of that is in here. And of course, ones that, people won. I'm going to be mailing all those out. So also, while I've been waiting for this loot box, I knew it was coming to be like the quote unquote mail day. So if I owe you some cards still, you can shoot me a message and be like, hey, I never got this. Like, just let me know. Because it's probably sitting over on my dresser. I'm going to be mailing it out, and I'm going to be mailing it out with the loot box because mail day is upon us. But there's a lot of good stuff in here. There is that Mass Blessing, which Graham is willing to trade his firstborn child for. It depends if that child is behaved or actually exists. I don't know. But that's probably more work, though. I've got to make sure the kid actually grows up, learns, and stays breathing. That's very important. So maybe not. Maybe I'll keep the Mass Blessing. That keeps my ranks alive. But Mass Blessing is in there because I ripped it against Josh in a pack for pack. And it's like, obviously, I'm not going to take the Mass Blessing. So it's going to one of you guys. That's in there. There's a couple copies of Exhaustion I know that are in there from the Tooth and Claw box. There's a lot of things in there, guys. A couple of the Assassin Strike packs. But now is the time, folks. Say anything in chat. If you said anything in the last 15 minutes, you're already in. If you haven't, if you're listening and you're kind of like, this has been fun, maybe I'll do something else. you know, now's the time to talk. We got a decent amount of you in here. We got about 18. So we're going to need a little bit more. I don't know if I don't see the viewers. I always see how many people are eligible. So, and also because you all tell me that it's rigged constantly. I know this. I've come prepared. You're going to see it all happen. So there ain't no more. This is my interface in Nightbot. And you can see these are the users. If your name is on this list, you are good to go. At least Woodrow isn't here. That is correct. I don't think there's a giant bat. I don't know what set giant bat came in. But yeah, you can see if your name is already on this list, you are good. Midge, I told you were going to win it, but you see, that's the art of deception. You're going to make the people believe that they actually have a chance before I hand it to you. No, it's obviously not. But you can see who's eligible. Everyone's eligible. Active users, users within the past 15 minutes. Regulars get no extra luck. Subscribers get no extra luck. Doesn't matter if you were tuning in for the first time to watch my stream. You may be getting this box. I think that kind of happened with Wyvern, right? Wyvern wasn't someone who won a pack or anything like that. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, dude, you just won a whole bunch of cards. Shipped it off to him. And now he's starting to make his own content. Check out his stream too. But who knows? So let's see. Maybe it might go to one of our regulars. Might be going to Juwanski, who likes to give out subs. That'd be easy shipping it off. If I go to Karora, so that I have to go to DHL and make sure it goes via German mail so that it gets there. Because otherwise, I send it USPS to Germany and they're going to be like, I ain't going all the way over there, and just throw it away. And that's the end of that. Denizen Kane, you've won a lot. I know that. So Icefall, you've won a decent amount. I know that. I might have some stuff for you. I don't even remember. Rogue Panda Art, I still have your envelopes of stuff. Anyone in New Jersey, I have your envelopes of stuff. Yes, you all want more. So, folks, this is going to be it. I think there's 19 of you. I think we're good to go. So, this is the moment of truth, folks. Here we go. We are going to roll it. So, going once, going twice. Let's roll it. Oh, it's good. Top player in the world, and it's going to Germany, folks. Here we go. I called it. I told you. I got to go to DHL, my man. Karora, you have won it. There is no giant bat in this. Or I don't think there's any. I don't think we've ever pulled one because that would have been a keeper. But the Germans. Yeah, DHL time. DHL's good. LOL what? You don't even know what you won, Marco, do you? Oh, yeah, because you're not seeing it right now. Hold on. Okay. You all saw me do it legitimately. All of that, everything there is going to you. So you have won the loot box, which is all the packs that we've opened that haven't been keepers. So we will mail it off to you. You just got to send me your mailing address. I'll have it packaged up and sent via DHL to you. Woo, but also heartbreaking. Yep. So we are all good there. That will close on the loot box, but don't worry, folks. We are now starting to build, gonna be as expensive as the next booster box. I don't think so. I think I could get this off for like $50. I think so. I just got to package it up right. But don't worry about going to get intercepted by Russian intelligence. Yeah, exactly. But nah, Germany's fine. Germany is away from all that. So, and you know what? There's a lot more important things than Warlord cards going that direction. It's all good. But yeah, Marco, just shoot me a PM on Discord with your mailing address, wherever you want me to mail this to. And that is yours. But as I've said, so these boxes are going there. We have to get another one started. So, while you all are in here, we're going to open up some packs. Because now you all have seen the conclusion of that. Actually, just about 1,000 miles from Ukraine. Oof. Yeah, okay, so maybe it might be a little too close for comfort. But either way, just hope everyone's doing well. That's really all we can kind of say there. Because it is scary times, but luckily that's why we still have the luxury to look at and talk about, and watch Warlord. So, we're going to see how this goes. I still have some other packs, and we need to start building up another loot box. And we have a whole bunch of you in here. So let's start rolling this off. What do you say, guys? We open up some packs and see what we can do. Either you're winning or we're feeding the loot box. So those who tuned in for the first time can now still win something. And we'll see how those loot boxes get made. Look at that. So first pack. I'm just going to roll it right now. Let's see what we got. It's going to Reclesis. There we go. So I'm picking for you. Just for the sake of time. We're going to open this up. See what we got. We're going to give away all 3 of these. These are the last of the Assassin Strike packs. So, Reclesis. Let me get this over here. There you go. Now you can see me. Taking a look. Uh-oh. There is no discolored rare. I don't remember which one's the rare. I haven't opened enough of Assassin Strikes, folks, and they keep changing it. So, I think I can find it through... Yep. Okay, cool. So, that's uncommon. Sorry, this is really goofy. Okay, cool. So, that is the card. It's literally... Okay, so the 5th from the bottom whenever I open the pack. Or 5th from the front. That's how I always remember. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Speaking of Reclesis, shout out to him. Check him out on Twitch and on YouTube. He does speed runs of awesome retro games like Resident Evil, especially, as you can tell by his zombie avatar. Check him out. And in true speedrun fashion, I'm going to speedrun this pack. There we go. There's some commons that we got going. Uncommons is a random Deveridian. I'm getting stuck now. I'm not going as fast. Vital spot. So the rare. Whirlwind. Okay. That was actually pretty good. There we go. I played the version that he likes where it's a speed run, and we got a pretty good card. Whirlwind. There we go. Look at that. WR booster open pack. Whirlwind. This is a card that usually has to get banned in certain alternate formats. Level 4 Cleric. Order. Druids can play this as a level 3 spell. They usually never have to. Order. This Cleric targets a character in play. The target must succeed with a DC save, magic save, DC 15, or stun. Yeah, it's banned in Classy because otherwise Audrey first action stun you. It's true. So I think this is good. I think it's a keeper, folks. Chat, what do you think? Has Reclesis added another card to my mail day? I think so. I think this is a winner. Let me know what you all think. I see Whirlwind is good. I see Keeper. Yeah, I think that's enough. So I think we got the W, Reclesis. There you go. You did not get slowed down in the orgy room. What does that mean? You have to check out some of his Resident Evil speedruns to know what the orgy room is. I can't even add it to certain Twitch things because then I get warned that it's inappropriate language. But either way, it's not. It's fine. And you'll see why. It's not the kind of orgy you want to be involved in. Next pack. Let's see what we got. Reclesis, just shoot me a message with your address. I can't remember if I mailed something to you already or not. But if you haven't, just shoot it over to me. We're going for the next pack, folks. There's still 16 of you here. We're going to go for it. If you're new and you want this pack, just say anything. Nip in Twitch. Yeah, that's how I get banned. All right, next one. Fucking Bobby. There's 16 people and it goes to fucking Bobby. Alrighty. Yeah, that's definitely... Oh, this is definitely rigged because it's off camera now. You all don't see this one. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Little do you know that Marco and I made an alliance in Strategic, and that's how he got the loot box. Alrighty, so let's see what we got. So we said 5th. So I think I'm going to try and do this right now. So that should be the rare. These should be the uncommons. And let's see if I've messed this up. Hand axe. Blue willow staff. Breastplate. For a black mane. Attack of opportunity. Avalanche. 2 breastplates. Watch out now. Now we're talking. We got double breastplate. But not the boop. with a bop. The boop was different. The bop is the breastplate. Let's see what we get. Rod of Resistance. Sky. Oh, here you go. Bobby's getting excited about the sky. And Azareth Flamekeeper. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Could there potentially be a Tauren here? I don't know. We gonna find out. We gonna find out. No way! We just pulled Rack Ironbone for Bobby. Get out of here. You want to talk about rigged? That is fucking rigged. I don't know how, but I rigged myself. Oh, man. Pack fresh Rack Ironbone. Can you believe that, dude? Oh, man. I am so excited. I am so excited. So, Rack Ironbone, for those who do not know. Level 5 Dwarven Warlord. He's good. +9, +6, 15 AC, 4 HP. Back in the day of Assassin Strikes and 7 skill. That was pretty good. No subclasses because they didn't exist back then. Order, until the end of turn, Rack gains +4 attack and his melee strikes inflict an additional wound. Rack suffers 1 wound. This ability can be used once per turn. Loot box for sure. There you go. Oh, you all are talking crap. Oh, man. I don't know, man. This is good. What do you all chat? I see people saying keeper. I see people saying rigged. Yeah, that's definitely rigged. Bobby, what are your thoughts about Rack? You think it's good? Well, I'll tell you what. You know what, Rack? You can't have Rack. Sorry, Bobby. Not doing it. You ain't getting it now. I'll send it to you ripped, but that's about it. No, I kid. I didn't rip Rack. Get out of here. I didn't rip Rack. I ripped a hand axe though, so you're not getting a hand axe, Bobby, but you are getting Rack Ironbone. That's a win. I tried to do something funny. I don't know if I got anybody with that, but I was like, let me see what I could do. I got Fat Kid. All right, cool. Then that's worth it. Rack don't need no hand axe. Exactly. We got one last pack, folks. We've had 2 winners here. This is good. Last call, and then we're gonna wrap it up. And again, like all this stuff, like all the just before last chance to get in for this. So if you're watching and you haven't made a comment in the last 15 minutes, please do so. Us opening these packs is only possible because you guys are so generous, gifting out so many subs, getting the hype train going, cheering bits. You guys are awesome. Like, you know, you're talking about like, oh man, you got to ship this to Germany. That's going to cost a lot of money. You guys have covered everything here. Like any dime that I've made goes back into you guys, and it's all because you guys are generous. So like, that's why like I'm happy to do this all for you guys, and I really appreciate it. Like you guys to be streaming Warlord and be able to financially buy boxes and open them on here. It's just awesome. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So is Black Tom a rare and can be pulled? I think, no, was he starter deck? I don't know. I think he might've been, was he starter deck only? I don't remember. That's a good one. I know Rack was one of the fixed ones, obviously, as we see. But I think he's a starter deck. It was him, Duchess Bremen, Belial, and Anton. So then the Nothrog was the other one in there. Who was the Nothrog Warlord in Assassin Strike? Tauth? Well, yeah, because we pulled Tauth as well. Yeah, right? Or no, was that Saga? I don't remember. So someone knows this. I don't know. Why you guys try and figure that out? Yeah, Tauth. Terror of Shard Keep. Oh, no. Terror's in Good and Evil. We got that box in the back. That's one of the next ones. Don't worry. But Good and Evil, not a great set, but it's going to be fun to open up those. And then we got Campaign Edition. So we'll see which one we're going to do. But Assassin Strike, this last one, it is going to Icefall. There we go. Speaking of Nothrogs, let's see. Last pack of Assassin Strike. You're the last chance to get Tauren, dude. We've had 2 winners. Let's see if we go 3 for 3. Oh, this one has like some kind of barcode on it. These are the packs that Woodrow sent to me as part of the raffle for Strategic. So they got some weird stuff on it. And just peeling that sticker off, it like ripped off part of the pack. Let's see. Get a Black Knives box so we can go foil Tauren. I looked. I cannot find a box of Black Knives. If any of you have it and are not going to price gouge it, let me know. I think I've seen one maybe for like, $500. It's like, no, get out of here. Like, I'm not going to justify that no matter how badly I want to do that, because you're a fucking young entrepreneur who's like, oh, there's a market for here. I'm going to calculate what the prices of these cards and I will get the price that I ask for because I am good at business. No, shut up. Just give it to the fans, folks. Let's see. Let's go for uncommons and Icefall. Let's see what you got. We got Horn of Fog. Nemesis, that's a good one. Improved Initiative. Ballista Crew, so good. Aurora Blackmane, the original rest. Attack of Opportunity and Courage from Faith. Commons are pretty good, dude. Vorpal Blade could be possible. Yes, it is. Is that calling it? Kind of like how Bobby called Rack Ironbone. Let's see. Here we got Messiran Poison for an uncommon. We got some random bad Deveridian that Joanski probably knows what it does. I don't. And excellent reflexes. But let's see. It's not a foil because if it's foil, it's in the front of the pack for some reason. But still could be a Tauren. I really want to see us pull a Tauren here. Let's see. What do we got? No way! It. You guys are calling these packs. You're insane. What is wrong with you? Oh, man, we got a Vorpal Blade. Good old combo. Kakora, no wonder you won the loot box, man. You were some kind of sorcerer. Rogue. Sorcerer is not a subclass of rogue, all right? And you need to start playing wizards now, man. Or seer. There you go. Now you're talking. You do play clerics. You do play seers. All right. Now I see it. Now it all makes sense. That's how Minerva fits into your rogue scheme. Vorpal Blade. +4 attack. Level 7 classless item, but it is fighter and rogue only. It is a weapon. It is a piece of the combo that we talked about here for Fade and Fellblow. React. After this character rolls a natural 20 on a melee strike, kill the target of the strike. When chat calls it, it's an automatic loot box, right? I gave away the loot box. I don't have a loot box to give away. I can't give away a solid booster box. That's insane, though. You guys are nuts. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so geeked right now. I can't believe you all are doing that. That was the best giveaway I think we've done. Ooh, Celtic, there you go. You're funding future loot boxes there with that gifted sub. Really appreciate it, dude. Paying it forward. Paying forward the gift they got from Midge to the community. Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you, Midge, for supporting. But yeah, so Icefall. I think I still got your address from your past wins, but if not, I don't know if you've moved or whatever since then. Shoot me a PM with it. Vorpal's definitely a win. That one's going your way. All right. So I opened these packs as an example to show you how loot boxes get made. But unfortunately, we didn't fill the loot box at all because there were 3 winners. You got to be kidding me. You didn't even see? Yeah, you won a Vorpal Blade, dude. And Kakora called it. He's like, hey, Vorpal Blade's possible in here. And then we ripped it open. Oh, man, you got to check that. Rogue Panda, thank you for the cheered bits. I got to get a cool sound effect. No one's ever cheered bits. You guys have always just gifted subs. And it always plays it twice. I don't know why. I think I might have something weird. I might have like double alerts on this thing. But anyway, that will wrap it up. So again, big thank you to everybody who came out and just bantered and had fun with Warlord. Really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who has made the loot box giveaway possible. Thank you to, I guess, Woodrow and the Guardians for making all these online events possible. Thank you to the gifted subs today, the first-time viewers. Thank you to anyone who's watching this on YouTube. That's where the VOD will be. So again, these streams would not be possible without you guys. I may only put in time to it, and that's really all I have to do because you guys are awesome. And it makes it a lot easier to find the time to do that once that is. So future plugs, we have Ancients coming up next week. I will be, of course, covering that. I am working on my deck now and maybe trying to see if I can get some alternatives. But we'll see what I got cooking for you guys in Ancients formats. If you'd like to play with us online through Untap, go to the Discord channel. You'll see it in the thank you slide that comes in at the very end of this video. Join into that. Start having conversations with us. Start playing games with us. It's fun. I promise you. You know, only certain people are assholes, like Bobby. That's it. But even then, Bobby's fine when you play him in, you know, online. So yeah, shout out to my fellow content creators, Wyvern, who I see you hanging out in chat, Slyfox Live, who I think is live right now on Twitch. He's probably stuck in Elden Ring land right now. Go watch him be miserable and then very elated when he finally kills the thing that's been murdering his face for like the last 7 hours. But definitely check out Slyfox Live on YouTube and or Twitch. Shout out to Warlord Cargamer. You still owe me some content, bro. David, get going. But you're still one of us. So he'll be doing some things as well. And yeah, I think that's everybody. Shout out to you, Reclesis, again, just because you still do content even if it's not Warlord. But yeah, shout out to you guys. So that's it. So have fun. We'll see you guys as we build the next loot box next month. Have a good one, everybody. I am just buying time as I scroll through OBS looking for the thank you. And now, unlike Lord of the Rings, where I false end like 3 times, I'm actually going to end the stream now. Bye, guys.